Hey everyone, I'm Cassandra from CassandraTyndall.com and welcome to this video. Today I want to discuss a little bit about an upcoming aspect that does tend to make people feel a little bit nervous or apprehensive, and that is the upcoming square between Venus at 12 degrees of Aquarius and Uranus at 12 Taurus. So this square aspect is going to take place on Saturday the 19th in my own time zone here in Australia, as well as in the Northern Hemisphere. So this is something that I discussed with my members in the Golden Circle Club as what I have, I guess, touted as being maybe one of the more tricky or difficult aspects of this month. But before I get into that, I just want to thank you to the few people who reached out to me and let me know that in the previous video that I uploaded and I shared the chart, Zoom had defaulted to an example chart that I was using as a teaching example earlier today. So from my end, I could see the transiting chart, but on your end, you were seeing the chart of Maya Angelou, who I was using as a teaching example earlier today. So here I am, I'm just going to re-record the whole thing and do this part two. So that's what happens, I guess, when Neptune is within range of your midheaven. You are going to make a few boo-boos along the way. But let's get back to this upcoming transit. Now, Venus square Uranus is a little bit of a tricky aspect that can make people feel a little bit nervous. And hopefully this video is going to help you get a few fresh ideas on how to navigate the upcoming transit. So as I record this, Venus has just moved to 12 degrees. And so now, to 9 degrees. So now it is within that 3-degree range orb of engagement to this perfecting aspect that will happen on Saturday. So Venus, Uranus. So we have Venus, the planet of relationships, of harmony, of beauty, of cleanliness, of pleasure and joy, forming a tension or a friction-inducing square to Uranus. That's a planet about radical change, liberation, freedom, breaking away with the status quo. So relationships, back to Venus, is a part of our life that for the most part, we don't like shocks and surprises in. We don't like upsets. We don't like things being rocked around unexpectedly. It's also important to consider that when I talk about a few of these themes throughout this video, I'm not just talking about relationships. Although Venus is the main signifier of relationships, it really is going to help more if you look to the particular house in your birth chart ruled by Aquarius, because that is where Venus is. And this is where the flavor of this aspect is most likely to come through. So yes, there is potential for breakups in relationships. Those relationships could also be work related. It could be friendship related. It could be upsets or changes to do with children, to do with a work colleague or a friendship situation. It could be to do with your money. It really depends on where Venus is transiting in your birth chart right now. So we can expect some kind of breakup or separation of some type, upsets, plot twists, or sudden unexpected developments in Venusian things. So Venus is a planet where we like comfort, where we like connection, where we like harmony, where we like joy, happiness, and relationship. So as she's moving through Aquarius, she's going to form this square, friction, tension-inducing aspect that is going to upset that proverbial apple cart. So it's not surprising that when Venus comes to square Uranus, particularly in fixed signs where we least like change, it is a bit of a white knuckle inducing transit. So for my money, it is the more trickier aspect of this month. And let's go back and figure out why. So where has Venus been thus far in 2022? She started the year retrograde in Capricorn as a carryover from the themes that began late in 2021. Then around the 28th, I think it was 29th, perhaps of January, Venus stationed direct at around 11 degrees of Capricorn and formed the trine aspect to Uranus. So this isn't totally new energy that we're dealing with now. So what we are moving into in the next few days may have a bit of a throwback theme to what happened when Venus stationed direct in Capricorn back in January. So February, she then caught up to Mars. Together they conjoined Pluto, and then together they moved into Aquarius. Now that Venus has recovered speed from being retrograde, she has now overtaken Mars, and now she is sandwiched between Mars in Aquarius and Saturn in Aquarius. So I'm going to share my screen with you now so you can see what that looks like. So Venus recently caught up to her regular speed, overtook Mars, and now she's in this position known as an enclosure or besieged. So she is enclosed by malefics right now. So this is Venus quite literally being caught between a rock and a hard place, particularly with fixed signs and with nowhere to go, because not only is she in a sign where she has no special strength or dignity, she's also very limited by the landlord of that house, being Saturn. So what we can expect here is, Venus is really having a hard time so far this year. And this besiegement situation, I have spoken to quite a few people since this aspect took place, or this configuration took place. And the area of their life ruled by Aquarius is just not going smoothly. No matter what deal, agreement, or arrangement they are trying to reach, there's just no winning. There's no luck. There's no breakthrough. So it might be, no matter how hard they're pushing, how hard they're trying, how hard they're working, there's that Saturn no at every turn. So this Venus square Uranus perspective that's coming through on the weekend might be that little bit of a plot twist or a breakthrough that often comes after the breakdown. So if you're feeling between that rock and a hard place, even though this particular aspect may bring a sudden or shocking or surprising plot twist, it might be that breakthrough that you need. Now, of course, in a relationship setting, this may not always be particularly pleasant. Okay, this might be the realization that somebody doesn't want what they once thought they wanted, or maybe it's you that doesn't want what you once wanted, and you get to that point where you feel so stuck or stagnant that you have a proverbial meltdown and just go, you know what I mean? Like Venus, she has a tendency to put up with, and then it's like, no, I'm not putting up with this anymore. I'm not happy. I don't want to continue to do this work, or feeling that just proverbial stuckness there, sandwiched between malefics. But it's not going to be like this forever. So Venus will pass through her aspect to Uranus, and then around the 28th, 29th of March, she will then conjoin Saturn at 21 Aquarius. And then once she gets over that final obstacle, then there's just that beeline for Pisces, and we have a totally different vibe, if you like, with Venus and Venusian and other related topics to do with relationships, friendships, pleasure, and joy. But that's a story for another video. So what's really interesting about this particular aspect is, though, while Venus is sandwiched between Mars and Saturn, she's also kind of getting a bit of a leg up, or an invitation, or a suggestion. Hey, just come over this side of the fence and things will be a lot more free, easy, happening, and exciting. Okay. So when we are in situations in life where we do feel like we have an absence of joy, or an absence of pleasure, or things not working out in a smooth or harmonious manner, as suggested by Venus sandwiched by malefics, there may be this temptation to take the first outlet or the first suggestion that looks comforting, that looks freedom inducing, or has a suggestion of liberation. So an example of this might be you are in a stuck or stagnant relationship setting and you're pretty much up to your wits' end with it. And fixed signs, particularly Venus sandwiched between these malefics, there's this more like, if I just buckle down, if I just work harder, if I just grin and bear it, then things will get better. But that may not always be the case. This fixed energy does have a suggestion that if you don't bend or if you don't find a compromise, then there is that likelihood of breaking. So if routines or habits in a relationship, or whichever house is ruled by Aquarius for you, has been all work and no play, maybe this weekend there's the invitation, let's just put our problems or our workload to one side and let's just shake a little bit of salt on our life and do something different, unique, or that is rare for your particular circumstances. So this might mean instead of ordering Uber Eats and burning the midnight oil at the desk, maybe you go out, maybe you have some fun. Maybe you say to that certain somebody, hey, I can't do this right now. I just need a break. I need to catch my breath, or I need something just to add a little bit of spice or motivation back to the situation. So Uranus is in a Venus ruled sign. So there is something about Venus that really likes what Uranus has to offer right now. And so again, there is, I guess, a little word of caution that the ticket to freedom that might be offered may not necessarily be all that it's cracked up to be, or potentially it could throw that proverbial spanner in the works. It can go either way. Sometimes a change is as good as a holiday, and maybe you just need to switch things up, discuss the issue, or look for a solution that is going to be a little bit more compromising or win-win. The beauty of this particular aspect is that we do have the moon making a trine to Venus as this aspect perfects. So the moon is in Libra in a Venus ruled sign. So the moon here is supporting Venus. The moon is helping to look for harmony or boosting the signal for what Venus wants. So maybe it is, rather than all work, no play, it's this desire to have a connection of the mind, to meet at a new level or to shake things up, whatever that status quo is. So for some, this might show up as the realization that, hey, I need to talk about a problem. I can't do things the way that I've always been doing them. I need something new, fresh, or different. It could be a relationship situation. Hey, I don't want to do what we always do every other weekend. I want to do something different. It also could be the realization that something won't shift until you shift it. So this could be recognizing, hey, I really hate this job and I don't want to continue with it, but there's still a little bit of a road I need to do to go down before I can officially resign and hand over. Or maybe I have to go back and complete some tasks or go back and attend to unfinished business. But the beauty of this particular aspect this weekend can help you realize that something needs to shift or change. And that may be a little bit frustrating at first, or it may feel uncertain or bring feelings of restlessness and a lack of being comfortable. But change or progress never happens in the comfort zone, right? So this aspect can realize what is not working. And when you can realize that, then you can work towards solutions, where the moon and Libra can really help you there. So it could be the job you hate and realize, I'm not going to do this anymore and I'm going to resign, give my 2 weeks notice, whatever the case may be, and go. Maybe it's your living situation and you want to change that up in some way. Or maybe it is a marriage, maybe, or a relationship, and you've realized you can't continue walking down the road that you are currently on. Maybe you need a detour, maybe you need a holiday, maybe you need a little bit of change, but there needs to have a bit of spice or a little bit of salt shaken on a situation. So maybe you do want to try something new, different, or rare for you. This might also, with the attitude of a change can be as good as a holiday, or recognizing you need to bend rather than break, particularly if you have been a little bit stubborn in a particular situation, or just feel like if I just do the work, put my head down on the grindstone, the result will come. But it's okay to take a break or take a pause. And this is what Uranus can invite us to do. Oh, that's what it looks like if I go and try that thing or do that thing. So Venus also rules our appearance. So sometimes in the idea of a change is as good as a holiday, maybe you just need to spruce things up. Maybe you need to dabble with a change of hair color, or try on that, leopard print outfit that you've always wanted to try but never thought you could pull it off. So sometimes it can just be making kind of subtle changes to the appearance. If it's your home and living environment, maybe you need to change some things at home just to freshen up the space. So when things feel a little bit better, then you can make more authentic choices around relationships, or what pleases you or what gives you pleasure, which is a very much a Uranus-Venus signature. So there is this kind of a little bit of a damned if you do, damned if you don't situation when Venus is in this stuck and stagnant situation. Again, this weekend, be prepared for that plot twist, an unexpected development. Maybe it's a desire that's coming from the surface that you haven't had time or inclination to yet explore. This could come from you or through somebody else or a situational situation. But thus far in March, if you really have felt that you have been stuck between that proverbial rock in a hard place, trying to reach that Venus and Pisces oasis that we're all looking for, this particular aspect this weekend may just bring enough of a tremor to the fault lines that go, that's the direction I need to take, or that's the decision I need to make. So there is a breakthrough. It may be a little bit uncomfortable, but Uranus always invites us to try it on for size. And if you don't try it on, you're never going to know if it fits for you. So if something comes along and it looks a little bit unique or different, give it a go. If a sudden invitation comes your way and it wasn't part of your plan, see if you can make room for it. It doesn't mean you have to throw the baby out the bathwater with your plans, with your relationship, with your job. But if you can just recognize that there's a little bit of an uncomfortable feeling here, or the recognition that some change needs to come through, then by taking a little bit of a break or pressing a pause, reassessing, okay, what can I switch up there? What can I change here? Then this aspect will be more about bending or compromising, which is what the moon in Libra supports and what Venus ultimately wants to do. So if you can find that compromise and bend as opposed to break, you'll be stronger for it. Another component to keep in mind is that whatever kind of dust gets ruffled, whatever feathers get ruffled, or whatever gets unsettled this weekend, on the 28th, 29th of March, Venus will then join Saturn. That is when new agreements can be reached, new terms of engagement, new contracts, new agreements, new arrangements. But it's just going to be the same old if you don't take advantage of this particular aspect and recognize, hey, yeah, I could probably continue with X, Y, Z, but I just want to make a tweak here or a change there, or have things that work maybe a little bit more to a Venusian level rather than all Mars Saturn. So it might be a little bit more about give or take, or making adjustments, or recognizing, hey, I can do this mammoth task, this nose to the grindstone, Venus in between Mars and Saturn. But for right now, I just need to make an adjustment so I can continue on with the long term. So I hope that's helped put maybe a little bit more of a positive or a productive spin on this particular aspect. I do think it's going to be a little bit tricky because there will be that temptation to just go, the hell with it. I'm out, I'm exiting, I'm staging left and not coming back. There may be some situations where that is appropriate, but there may be some other situations where how can you make a more authentic adjustment as you move forward for those longer term Venus-Saturn type of goals and arrangements. So I hope that's helped. If you do like these kind of videos and you want more astrology on the regular and in advance of the aspects, then I would encourage you to look into the Golden Circle Club. There's plenty of benefits when you join, lots of offers and insights that aren't available anywhere else. And I'll put all of those details in the show notes below. I'd also love to hear any of your insights or anything that you are experiencing with this aspect, if that's showing up for you already, or maybe what you've experienced in previous Venus-Uranus aspects too. So until next time, I hope you have a great week and I look forward to seeing you next time.